iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. We had a little battle on Facebook today. Jay Gruden says Chris Thompson looks fantastic. And my man Fantasy Frankie's like, I'm all in. But Sean Childs from Scout Fantasy Sports goes, no, I don't think he's going to be so good. And I think it's very interesting because Fantasy Frankie and Sean are two of my favorite people, and they know so much about fantasy football. And it's interesting to see how two people can see things in opposite ways. Frankie wants nothing to do with him, and Sean thinks he's going to be... Frankie loves him, and Sean wants nothing to do with him. So what it tells me is that make up your own mind. Make up your own mind as to what you think is the right thing for your team. You like Chris Thompson, draft him. You don't draft him. So Mike McCarthy says that, Jamal Williams is poised for a big year. Great. I'm not interested. I want no part of him. I just don't. I like Aaron Jones. I'll take Montgomery. I don't really want Jamal Williams. So there's coach speak that I agree with, and there's coach speak that I don't agree with. And in this case, I would agree with Chris Thompson. I will not agree with Jamal Williams. All right, I also think that Carson Wentz is not going to play. I think he's going to miss a few games, whether it's 2 or 3 games. I think he's going to miss games, and I think that Nick Foles is going to be the starting quarterback. It's just a smart move. You can't jeopardize Wentz, and that's why you have Nick Foles, to play him for a couple of weeks. He's a good enough player. That makes sense to me. All right, so I fell behind. I apologize. I fell behind in my previews. So I'm going to have to do what they do in the NFL in the old school, 2-a-days. Today, the Jets and the Raiders. And then we'll do the Eagles and Steelers. We'll do Seattle and San Francisco. We'll do Tampa Bay and Tennessee. And then the Redskins will be the last ones. And we will try to get that all done before I leave for a beautiful Las Vegas. So I will do that. Let's get started with the Jets preview right now. Sam Darnold looks to be their starting quarterback. The Jets love him, love what he can do in their offense. I wouldn't have done this move. Why do you have Teddy Bridgewater? Why do you have Josh McCown? I think it's so that you don't have to rush Sam Darnold. I would like to see him sit on the bench for like 5 or 6 games to get into it. But the Jets seem like they're going to play him. Should you play him? No. Maybe in a best ball league, but certainly in redraft leagues, he's nowhere on my draft radar. That said, get to me in 3 years. In 3 years, I like this guy. Right now, I don't. So let's see where it ends up. Could I think he have 3,300 yards, maybe 20 touchdowns? Yeah, I think he's a good player. But my problem is he going to make everybody else good? I know Josh McCown made everybody else good. Can Darnold do the same thing? Isaiah Crowell is a new starting running back for the Jets. And I want to talk about game flow. We've mentioned these words before. I loved Crowell last year for the Browns, but he had a crappy year. Really crappy year. Why? Because the Browns were behind every game in the second half, so they threw the ball more in the second half. The game flow didn't go in his direction. Once again, Crowell goes to another team where the game flow may go against him. If their Jets are behind in the halftime by 20-10, how many times are they going to run it in the second half? So I like Crowell, but I worry about the game flow for him. But I do think he's an ideal 4th running back, and I have no problem drafting him as that. I'm down on Bilal Powell. I really liked Powell last year. I thought he was going to have a sensational year, but he killed my fantasy teams. He really did. I drafted him like the 4th round in Vegas, 4th and 5th round, thinking I had a steal on my hands. The Jets don't see this guy as more than like a 10-touch-a-game guy. So, whether that's 3 carries, 8, 10 touches, that's it. You're not going to get enough production with 8 or 10 touches, so I am off on Bilal Powell this year. Elijah McGuire is out. I think he has an opportunity to play, but right now he's dealing with a foot injury. So the Jets brought in Charkandrick West because I don't think they're happy with Thomas Rawls. And Trenton Cannon's really fast. He's like shot out of a cannon, but he can't hold on to the football. So Charkandrick West looks like he'll be the third running back until Elijah McGuire comes back. I don't hate Elijah McGuire in PPR formats, as a late 20th round kind of guy. But I think probably right now, because of the injury, I just have to let him sit on the waiver wire. That's what I'm doing there. All right, I'm going to work my way backwards as I do. The Jets have no tight end. Don't worry about Jordan Leggett, Chris Herndon. The Jets don't use a tight end. I don't want the Jets kicker. Want nothing to do with them. So let's go to their receivers. I think there's one guy I really like, one guy I can make a case for, and two guys I'm going to not do anything with. So the guy I like is Robbie Anderson. I really do like Robbie Anderson. He has a tremendous knack for getting open, and he gets a lot of yards per catch. He's just in the right place at the right time, and I have a lot of respect for him. So I can see him with another 900 yards and 7 touchdowns because he can beat the defenders deep. But will Sam Darnold throw him the ball deep? I hope so. If he does, if he takes chances, Robbie Anderson will benefit. I'd love Robbie Anderson as my 4th receiver. Would I take him as my 3? Maybe, but I don't feel as good about it. I do like Quincy Enunwa just a little bit. Now, he missed last year, 2017. But in 2016, this guy had over 100 targets and 857 yards receiving. So this guy's a player. And I think the Jets quarterbacks realize how good he is, and the Jets missed him terribly last year. So I'm willing to take Enunwa as like my 7th or 8th receiver at the end of a draft. Just stick him there and see what happens. I'm not against that. But Jermaine Kearse, Terrell Pryor, I don't trust those guys. I mean, I know some drafts are hard. I just don't see the upside there. Pryor has done good things in the past, but he's also can flame out quite easily. And he always seems to be injured. The guy's 29 years old. It's not like he's 24. And Jermaine Kearse, I just don't trust as much. So I'm in this year on Crowell, Anderson, for sure. Powell, maybe. Enunwa, okay. McGuire, I'll keep a watchful eye on. That's it. The Jets are a bad team. Bad team. I don't want players. That's how it works. I'll do another preview here for the Oakland Raiders. There's another team where I don't like a lot of players, and if I don't like the team and I don't like the players, I really don't have a lot of these guys on my roster. I try to avoid them. So with the Jets, will I draft Crowell and Robbie Anderson? Yes. Outside of that, I don't feel good. I think the Raiders are a bit of a mess right now. How can John Gruden not sign Khalil Mack? What are you doing? What are you doing? He might be one of the top 2 defensive players in football. You need him. Get Mack signed. What are you trying to prove a point? What's your point? That you can suck? There's your point, John. Your team can suck. Go get Khalil Mack and sign him. All right. Derek Carr I liked last year. I really did. I bought into Derek Carr going into the season, and I was like, wow, this guy can have 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. He was a major disappointment to me. He looked shell-shocked some weeks. He lost his confidence. I am not buying into Derek Carr. I saw somebody took him early. I don't see it. I just don't like this team here. So I'm going to stay far away from Derek Carr. Maybe in a best ball league, but if I'm taking him as my 2nd quarterback in a redraft league, I'm probably not winning that league. I'm just not. Marshawn Lynch is, he's like 32, 33 years old, and I guess there's some ability there left, but he's like 3 or 4 years away from being beast mode. I think he's looked a little better in training camp, but I don't feel good about drafting him. So he's that guy where I just hope somebody else takes him when I don't want to take him. Like round 7, round 8, somebody sees Lynch and they take Lynch. That's a guy, and I go, nobody took my guy, they took Lynch instead. That's what I'm looking for. I might take a chance on Doug Martin because Gruden brought Martin in for a reason. He must have liked him. Right? And I think Martin has some ability, and I think you're going to see about 120 carries. I think you're going to see about 180 to 200 from beast mode, and I think you're going to see about 120 from Martin. If Martin plays well, you'll see more from Martin, but right now I'm going to go about 180 and 120 right there. Will I draft Martin? Sure, in round 13 as my 6th guy. Nothing earlier than that. I'll take a flyer on him. All right. Kicker, I'm not even going to worry about. Eddie Pinheiro looks like the guy there, but he's got a groin injury. They got rid of Giorgio Tavigliero, whatever his name is. He's done. Mike Nugent I don't like. Stay away. Jared Cook is the tight end there. Man, I'm so tired of saying, oh, Jared Cook has ability. Jared Cook can do this. Jared Cook's a bum. I mean, if I'm taking Jared Cook, I got to be so desperate that I'm not happy. Could he get 40 catches? Maybe. 500 yards? Maybe. 4 or 5 touchdowns? Maybe. Do I feel good about it? No. So I really am going to avoid him. And then there's only 2 receivers I want here. I don't want Martavis Bryant. I don't want Seth Roberts. I only want 2 receivers. The first receiver is Amari Cooper. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm probably not going to draft him. I know Sean Childs loves him, and that says a lot for me. If Sean loves Cooper, then I need to be interested in Cooper. But I just don't see me drafting him. I think Cooper has lost a little confidence, and he's had some problems with drops. He's got a little bit of the dropsies there. And I wonder whether or not that continues. So, look, will I take Cooper in round 4? You better believe it. Will I take him in round 3? Probably not. I don't like question marks in my first 3 picks. If I'm like, oh, it could be good, maybe a question mark, then I did the wrong thing. I want guys who are solid. I don't want question marks. So because I have a question mark for Amari Cooper, I'd love him as my second receiver, just not as my first. Probably get 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. I just don't know. I don't trust it. I don't like drops. I do like Jordy Nelson. I think Jordy Nelson has a lot to prove. I think he got the shaft for at the Packers. John Gruden brought him in, got rid of Michael Crabtree, which I'm fine with. I like Jordy Nelson more anyway. I think Crabtree's got the drops as well. And I think Jordy Nelson has a lot to prove. I would love him as my 4th receiver this year. I think 60 catches, 800 yards, 6-7 touchdowns. I think there's still something left in that tank for Jordy Nelson. And I would like to see where that goes. So I'm interested, and I think if I've got 3 other guys who I like, and I can have Jordy as my 4th guy on a bye week, I'll feel pretty good with that. Maybe 8th, 9th, 10th round, something like that. 10th is probably too late. 8th, 9th, if I'm getting him as my 4th receiver, I could live with that. That's not a bad play. So, you had your draft. You're excited. Now what? Now you got to win. You got to figure out how to win. Let us at Scout Fantasy Sports help you win, okay? Enter promo code ROTO1, that's ROTO number 1, and you get 1 free month of Scout Fantasy Sports. Come let us help you win your fantasy football leagues, okay? You want to play DFS? Come to scoutdfs.com. Sign up now. I love our optimizer. Sean Childs is always putting in. He doesn't just use the optimizer. He tweaks the optimizer. The dude is super smart, and some weeks he is so on point. I couldn't be any happier than to recommend him. It's sensational. Okay? But right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. But wait. PlayFFWC.com. PlayFFWC.com. It's not too late to sign up for drafts. We are drafting all this week. We are going to be drafting next week. We're going to be in Vegas next week. It's the most exciting time of the year. Be part of what we're doing at ScoutFantasySports.com. This is Dr. Roto saying be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit ScoutFantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!